You walk into the basement, and there's water on the floor. At first, it looks like a small puddle. Then you look up. The water heater is wet. Your first thought? How bad is this? You call a plumber, and now you're facing a decision. Repair the water heater you already own, or replace the entire unit before a small leak becomes a very expensive problem. Here's the problem. Water heater leaking is not a diagnosis. A leak from one location may be a relatively manageable repair. A leak from another location may mean the water heater has reached the end of the road. And if you make the wrong decision, you may spend hundreds of dollars repairing a water heater that was already telling you it was finished. Welcome to the repair verdict. Before you pay the repair bill, we examine the age, the failure, the repair cost, and the risk of what happens next. Then we give the verdict. Fix it with conditions, or replace it. Today, your water heater is leaking. Is it worth repairing? First, we need to answer the most important question. Where is the water actually coming from? Because water on the floor does not automatically mean the tank itself is leaking. There may be water around a pipe connection. A valve may be dripping. The temperature and pressure relief system may be involved. The drain valve may be leaking. And in some situations, what appears to be a leak may even be condensation. Or the tank itself may be leaking. From across the room, these problems can look similar. Financially, they are completely different. Let's build our first case. Your water heater is 6 years old. You notice a small amount of water near the unit. A qualified professional inspects the system. The tank itself appears intact. The problem is traced to a repairable connection or component. The rest of the water heater appears to be in reasonable condition. The repair cost is modest compared with replacement. The verdict? Fix it. You're dealing with a relatively young water heater and a specific, isolated problem. But now change one detail. The water is coming from the tank itself. This is where the conversation becomes very different. A storage water heater is designed to hold a large volume of water. Over time, the tank can deteriorate. Corrosion can develop. The internal protective systems and condition of the tank matter. And once the tank itself has failed and is leaking, you're generally no longer discussing a simple valve or connection repair. You're looking at replacement. This is why the source of the leak matters more than the size of the puddle. A small puddle from a repairable fitting may be a limited problem. A small amount of water escaping from a failing tank may be an early warning of a much bigger failure. Never judge the seriousness of a water heater leak only by how much water you see today. Ask where the water is coming from. Now let's move on to question number 2. How old is the water heater? Traditional tank water heaters do not last forever. Depending on the unit, installation, maintenance, water quality, and operation conditions, their service life can vary. But as a tank water heater gets older, the repair decision changes. Imagine your water heater is 4 years old. A repairable component has failed. The tank is in good condition. No corrosion problems. No history of repeated repairs. A reasonable repair may make financial sense. Now imagine the water heater is 12 years old. There is visible corrosion. The unit has become less reliable. And now you're seeing water around the base. Same category of appliance. Completely different case. Age alone does not create the verdict. But age changes the value of every repair dollar. If you spend $300 repairing a relatively young water heater, you may be buying many more years of service. If you spend $300 on an aging water heater with corrosion and a history of problems, you may simply be delaying replacement. The repair price is the same. The value is not. Question number 3. Is this the first problem? Repair history matters. Imagine a water heater that has worked reliably for 8 years. Then one component fails. The issue is clearly diagnosed. The repair cost is reasonable. That's one case. Now imagine another 8-year-old water heater. You've already had service calls. The unit has had recurring problems. Hot water performance has become inconsistent. You've noticed unusual noises. There are signs of corrosion. And now there's a leak. Do not evaluate today's leak in isolation. Look at the machine's history. One repair may be an isolated event. Repeated problems create a pattern, and patterns are evidence. This is something we repeat on the repair verdict for a reason. Past repair money is gone, but past failures are evidence.
You should not approve another repair simply because you've already spent money on the water heater. That's sunk cost thinking. But you absolutely should use the previous failures to understand whether the appliance is becoming unreliable. Question number 4. What condition is the tank in? This is especially important with a traditional storage water heater. Look at the entire case, not just the newest drip. Is there visible rust or corrosion around the unit? Is water appearing around the base? Has the water heater started making unusual rumbling or popping noises? Has hot water performance changed? Does the water appear rusty or discolored? Has the unit needed repeated attention? None of these signs by themselves should be diagnosed from a YouTube video, but together they give context. A plumber or qualified water heater professional should determine the actual source of the leak and assess the unit. The question you want answered is not simply, can you stop the water? Ask, what is the overall condition of the tank? Because repairing one external component does not restore an aging tank. A new valve does not make the tank new. A repaired connection does not remove internal corrosion. You need to know whether you're repairing a good water heater with one failed component or attaching a new component to a tank that is nearing failure. And now we reach question number 5. What is the cost of waiting? This is where a leaking water heater becomes different from many other appliance decisions. If your television fails, you lose entertainment. If your washing machine fails, you may use a laundromat. But a water heater stores water inside your home. Depending on where the unit is installed, a larger leak can potentially damage flooring, walls, stored belongings, or other areas around the unit. The water heater may be in a garage, a basement, a utility closet, or somewhere where water damage becomes expensive very quickly. This means the repair decision cannot be based only on today's repair quote. You also have to consider the consequence of another failure. Imagine an 11-year-old water heater. The tank is showing signs of corrosion. There has already been one previous leak-related service call. A plumber offers a limited repair. The repair costs less than replacement. On paper, repair wins. What are you buying? Are you buying several reliable years? Or are you buying more time from an aging tank while accepting the risk of another leak? That's the real financial question. Let's run 3 repair verdict cases. Case number 1. Your tank water heater is 5 years old. You notice a small leak. A professional identifies a specific repairable connection or component. The tank itself is in good condition. No visible corrosion, no repeated repair history. Hot water performance has been normal. The repair cost is reasonable. The verdict? Fix it. This is exactly the type of situation where replacing the entire water heater may be unnecessary.
Now, case number 2. Your water heater is 8 or 9 years old. You notice water near the unit. The tank does not appear to be leaking, but a valve or external component needs attention. The repair cost is moderate. The unit has been mostly reliable. But the water heater is entering an age where future replacement needs to be part of the conversation. The verdict? Fix it with conditions. Get the leak source confirmed. Ask about the condition of the tank. Look for corrosion. Review the repair history. And compare the repair cost with a realistic replacement quote. If the tank is healthy and the problem is clearly isolated, repair may still make sense. But start planning financially for replacement. Do not treat the water heater like a brand new appliance. Now, case number 3. The water heater is 12 years old. Water is appearing around the base. The tank itself is leaking. There are signs of corrosion. Hot water performance has been declining, and the unit has already needed previous service. The verdict? Replace it. This is not a case where you should keep chasing individual symptoms. The tank is the core of a storage water heater. If the tank itself has failed, replacing an external valve or tightening a connection does not solve the real problem. And there's another mistake homeowners make. They wait because the leak looks small. A towel goes on the floor. Then a bucket. The bucket gets emptied every day. And the leaking water heater becomes part of the house. This is not a repair strategy. A small, ongoing leak deserves attention, especially when the source has not been professionally confirmed. If you discover water around your water heater, do not assume you know where it is coming from. And do not ignore active leaking. Water and energy systems can create serious hazards.
Follow the manufacturer's safety guidance and contact a qualified professional when appropriate. The goal is not to become a water heater technician after watching this video. The goal is to ask better financial questions before approving a repair. Where exactly is the leak? Is the tank itself leaking? How old is the water heater? What is the repair history? What is the condition of the tank? And what is the consequence if this unit leaks again? Those questions create the verdict. A younger water heater with one isolated, repairable problem? Fix it. A middle-aged water heater with an external leak and a healthy tank? Fix it with conditions. An older storage water heater with a leaking tank, corrosion, and repeated problems? Replace it. The biggest mistake is replacing an entire water heater because of one repairable external component. But the second biggest mistake is repeatedly repairing parts around a storage tank that is already failing.
Remember, the puddle is the symptom. The source of the water creates the verdict. That's the repair verdict. Before you pay the repair bill, examine the whole machine, not just the newest leak. If your water heater is leaking, leave 4 things in the comments: the age of the water heater, where you see the water, the repair quote, and the previous repair history. Your case could be the next repair verdict.